Guys, long time no film, so I thought I would go ahead and film my Sephora VIB sale haul. I am expecting one more order, however that probably isn't going to get in until Wednesday or Thursday of this coming week, so I thought I would try to film and upload what I have to show you here, and I will also tell you what I have ordered before the sale actually ends. So if you're looking for any last minute inspiration or you're just curious what other people are buying, you can stay tuned. So the first thing I got was this Kiehl's Ultra Facial Duo is what it's called, and just to give you an idea, has some tissue paper in there to kind of keep things stable. So it was actually like that, so I just opened it already. So this has the Ultra Facial Cleanser and the Ultra Facial Cream. This was $19 retail for a $28 value, and of course you get the I got the 20% off because I'm Rouge. I wish Sephora would extend the 20% off to at least VIB and then maybe give Beauty Insiders the 15% for the holidays, but what can you say? So the Ultra Facial Cleanser is a nice mild cleanser, and this is, it says it has squalene, which is one of my favorite skincare ingredients, nice and moisturizing, and apricot kernel oil, vitamin E, and avocado oil. And I am 99%, oh, it does have sulfate. So there's that. But from what I remember, it's not too drying. I wouldn't say it's my favorite cleanser. For a cleanser that I would use with a Clarisonic, for example, I would prefer the Fresh Soy Face Cleanser, or even the First Aid Beauty Cleanser I think is pretty good, but this came with the set. So what I was really interested in was the Ultra Facial Cream, and this was a product I think I discovered in 2010, 2011, somewhere in there, and I just remember it being very moisturizing. This also has squalene, and it's not my favorite moisturizer, but I think for the price and for it being in this travel size, it's all nice and sealed up, I thought it would be good because my husband and I are traveling to London for the last half of December to visit his family, so I was looking for some nice travel skincare items, so I thought I would give this little set a try. I guess for the day-to-day skincare products that I am using and I replenished, I got the Drunk Elephant Proteini Polypeptide Cream, which is more of a, I guess, gel-based, more of a treatment moisturizer. So this has 9 signal peptides, whatever that means. It says strengthen and moisturize. People describe this as like a protein shake for your face. I don't know if I don't even know what that means really, to be honest, but this says reinforce. Do you guys see that? Pretty sure that should be reinforce, right? Focus. But anyway, 9 peptides, unless that's French, I don't know. It says, this breakthrough protein moisturizer combines an unprecedented array and concentration of signal peptides, growth factors, supportive amino acids, and pygmy water lily for visible and immediate improvement in the appearance of skin's tone, texture, and firmness. So, I do, because I have very dry and sometimes dehydrated skin, if it's not adequately moisturized, it can look a little old, I guess is the word. It looks like it's very thin, so I look for things like this to kind of plump them up and make them as, I guess, hydrated and resilient as possible. So I got this. I was kind of on the fence about whether to get this or the La Retro Whipped Cream. Obviously I got them both. I think this one, let's see, I have my iPad here, I can tell you. I think the Proteini is a little bit more expensive at $68, I believe, and the Lala Retro is only $60. I'm not sure why there's that price difference. This is the Lala Retro Whipped Cream, and it says Rescue and Recover. This is strengthen and moisturize. This has 6 rare African oils and ceramides. I think this is a recent reformulation, adding those ceramides in. And it says, this all-purpose rescue cream whipped into an airy blend of 6 rare African oils recovers and locks in intense moisture for hours after application. So honestly, I use these both. So I use a pump of this and then I follow up with a pump of this. So if you have more combo oily skin, you probably think that's a huge overkill. This alone would probably be too much for your skin, but especially as we're entering into the colder months, I find that just layering different products really helps my skin. So after I use a gentle cleanser, I will either use the Neutrogena gentle cleanser, I forget what it's called. I think I actually prefer the CeraVe, but right now I have the Neutrogena. And then in the shower, I actually have the Kate Somerville Goat Milk Cleanser, which is a lotiony type cleanser. So I'll use one of those depending if it's the night or the morning, and then I will follow up with the Paula's Choice Resist Toner, and then the First Aid Beauty Ultra Hydrating Serum, I think it's called, and then I'll use the Protini, and then I'll use this. That's assuming I'm just going for the ultimate hydrating kind of routine and not looking for any sort of acid exfoliation. If I'm doing that, then I'll probably sub in the Tarte Knockout treatment for the toner, and then probably just continue with the rest of the steps. But anyway, very long-winded way of saying that I stocked up on both of those. Alright, another item I stocked up on was the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in the shade 1, which I believe is Fair or something along those lines. So it's very rare for me to, I guess, use a powder, at least until recently. I have very dry skin, like I mentioned, and I find that a lot of powders can just kind of sit on the skin and look powdery and be drying. So it's kind of a balancing act to set any makeup that I want to set under my eyes, etc., without adding to, you know, the cakiness or dryness of my makeup. So this is the Airbrush powder, and as you can see, I have hit major pan on that. So I thought I would go ahead and pick up another one while it was on sale, and I'm not sure how long I can keep going with this one before it just falls apart. So it is a pricey powder, so I'm definitely glad to get this at a discount, and I think this has like rose silk or something. Some of the ingredients just seem like they're more hydrating than your average powder. I know that Jen Loves Reviews talked about this, I think, in a recent video, and I think I commented saying, oh, I'm planning on picking up another one during the sale, which I obviously did, and I was asking, because she referenced there being other dupes for it that would, you know, be less expensive, and some other people commented on various products that are possible dupes for these, or for this product. I haven't tried any of those, so I can't speak to how they compare, but I'll try to track down those comments and leave them down below. So if you don't want to spend the, I think it's $45 before the discount on this powder, you can look into those. For me, this is a product that I do use every day pretty much, so it was worth the investment. I'm trying to spend money on makeup that I will wear on a routine basis, so not spending a lot of money on glitters and that sort of thing. So got another one of those. Alright, and then speaking of products that I will use every day, my go-to complexion product has been the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. This is the Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. It has an SPF of 30. And the SPF is titanium dioxide, so it is a mineral-based sunscreen. And this is nice. It is very kind of hydrating and dewy, so if you have dry skin, that's great, especially again as we head into the winter months. If you have more oily skin, just be aware that it is something that you will probably have to set. It has very kind of minimal coverage. but it just helps to kind of blur and even things out. So I think I do have a backup of that. So it is definitely a product I like to keep on hand. However, I did finally get this is the, I guess, travel or deluxe, not deluxe, but the smaller size of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This has been on my radar for a long time. I actually uploaded a how to find your shade video for this foundation, which I believe is still current. So if you are curious, I got the shade 3.75, which is, I think, 2R03. And I normally look for about a 1R03, so I'm talking about the Sephora Color IQ system, which I explain in depth in those videos, but it basically indicates the undertone of your skin as well as the depth, so how light or dark you are and how warm or cool you are. And I am pretty neutral, leaning on the cool side, and on a scale from about 1 to 15, I'm about a 3. So this is a 2R shade according to Sephora, so a little bit more cool tone, but I do have a lot of natural redness, so you know that can kind of work out. But anyway, finally got this in the, is it half an ounce size? 0.6 fluid ounce, so a little over half. And I'm wearing it today, and I do like it. I would say it doesn't feel drying. I think I've had it on for maybe an hour or two. I set a little bit like in my forehead, and I think I did some other powders obviously on my cheeks. I put blush and highlighter on from a palette I will show you in a moment. But it is a pretty liquidy. Go ahead. Oh, you're peeling potatoes. But it is a little bit more liquidy than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a little bit more of a thicker formula. And it's also a little sheer. Like, I was interested in trying it because sometimes this just isn't as much coverage as I would like, especially if I have any blemishes or anything. So I'm always looking for a really nice hydrating medium coverage foundation, I guess. I don't want something that's like a mask, because then if there's any shade discrepancy, it just annoys me. So far I'm liking this. Very first early impression, but I'm happy to have that. And it is a glass bottle, so not ideal for traveling, but then it's a smaller size. So I will probably bring this to London, assuming I continue to enjoy the way it wears. Alright, so next up, speaking of products that I wear on a routine basis, I got both of the Hourglass ambient lighting palettes that came out this year, and I was kind of on the fence about whether to get this one, especially the bigger one, but I figured if I don't like it, then I can always return it. But I'm trying to find it here. I had purchased I think this was the first, or one of the first ambient lighting palettes they came out with in this kind of form factor. And this is totally not a necessity, and I totally understand what people are saying when they say that the pans are very small and the value per ounce or whatever is not as good as the full-size product, but they are very good to travel with. So if you want kind of an array of different products, you get a bronzer, you get some blushes. There are powders that you can use as kind of a setting powder or a highlight. It's a really nice, convenient little palette here. And I've used, I think for example, today I used this Sonia Kashuk blush brush, and it is quite big. But the nice thing about these powders is that they're very forgiving. I mean, they're definitely pigmented and they will show up, at least on my skin tone. But they just, I don't know, they're very easy to work with in my opinion. So my go-to blush palette has been the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush Palette, which I believe was the same year as this guy, so I guess just happened to buy both on different years. I skipped out on a lot of years that these have come out, but yeah, this is my go-to blush palette, and usually I just reach for this, and then I look at it, and depending on what I'm wearing or my eye look, I can decide whether I want to go for a pinkier, a more coral, or a mauvier shade. So this is what I reach for 9 times out of 10. Gives a really nice, like, luminous flush to the face. So I really enjoyed that, and I just thought it'd be nice to have some different shades to work with because I love the formula. So this palette does have, I think, 2 exclusive blush shades. And I've also tried, like, this, is it Diffused Light? Is the yellow shade? Yeah, that's Diffused Light. Dim Light could be an all-over powder for some people. I can almost use it as like a bit of a bronzer, a bit of a warming shade. This, what is it? Strobe powder here, you can use this as a really natural highlight in the corner. The diffuse light that I mentioned you can use to set under the eyes or anywhere else. A nice bronzer, and then the 2 blush shades. So these are really pretty. And again, I am very fair, so you know, make sure that it will work on your skin tone. All right, and then I feel like I'm all over the place. I did get the blush quad as well. So this has 4 more shades of the blush, which I think are either exclusive to this palette or ones that I don't have in my collection. So I have the Luminous Flush and the Mood Exposure, which are 2 of my favorites. And then I think I also have this Ethereal Glow, which I thought I would get a lot of use out of, as considering how fair I am, but it just doesn't, I don't know, I just don't reach for it very often. So I do really like that blush formula. I don't know what to tell you. So I got both of those holiday palettes, and I'm sure I will be bringing at least one of those probably to London come December. Alright, so I will quickly show you the samples that I got. And I did actually place multiple orders for the Sephora haul. So Retail Me Not had $5 back on purchases of $65 or more, which was the best cash back offer that was going between the 3 that I routinely check. So those are what used to be Ebates, I think is now called Rakuten. I prefer Ebates as a term, but anyway. Ebates, Mr. Rebates, or Retail Me Not. And I have a video kind of explaining how each of those work and how to use them. And I routinely check all of those. I think all of them have browser buttons, so it makes it really easy. So that's a video I would definitely check out before Black Friday if you plan on doing a lot of shopping. So you're well informed and you get the best value. Anyway, so I think I got most of the samples I requested with the exception of the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask, which is fine because I have the full size and I've gone through countless of those. So I didn't need a sample. I just thought it would be nice to have it as a like a travel option, basically. So I got the Atelier Cologne Vanille Insensé, maybe? I don't know. I got one of those. They sent me the Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer. Do I have this one? Pretty sure I have this one. But anyway, I think they sent me this instead of the Laneige, which is fine. I was actually surprised that I got as many of the samples I requested as I did, because I did order on the first day that was open to Rouge, so not everyone could shop, but a lot of times they just run through samples really quickly. Alright, so got the Juliet Has a Gun Not a Perfume. So this one looks like a spray. I think the Atelier Cologne is, oops, not a spray, I think. It's just like a vial, which is actually kind of nice because if you get enough of these, you can empty them into like your own atomizer that you purchase through, I don't know, Amazon or wherever they sell those. Make your own kind of travel size. And then I got 2 samples of the Protini Polypeptide Cream, which obviously I don't need a sample of because I purchased the full size, but again, I thought these would be maybe nice for travel. I saved some of those empty travel containers I'd gotten through various deluxe samples or 100-point perks or what have you. But I realized that the way that they design their packaging, I would have to like pump up, you know, a pump of this and then kind of scrape it off and scrape it into a jar. And I just thought realistically, I don't want to do that, which is one of the reasons why I got that Kiehl set. So anyway, so I got some of this. I wish they would, I realized why they make the packaging this way, and I don't know. There's no simple explanation or I guess solution to this, because it does keep it airtight and hygienic. I don't think these are recyclable, unfortunately. So I don't know. I don't have the answer, but that's what the pro and con of that type of packaging. Anyway. And then I think I got 3 of the Amazing Grace fragrance from Philosophy, which is one of those type vials. So I probably have enough of these that I could put into some sort of travel spray, but I don't know. The samples they had at the time I ordered just weren't that exciting, so I just went with what they had. Alright, and then finally I will tell you what I have purchased coming up here. So one of the main things I wanted was the Dr. Jart Focus Spot Micro Tip Patches, which are for blemishes, and they have like little spikes, which sounds a little bit more violent than they are really. They just have like little like micro, like it says, tips that I think are made out of niacinamide or some other type of skincare ingredient that will actually dissolve. So you put them on top of a blemish, and I think the idea is that those micro tips help the product kind of get into the blemish, and especially if it's something that's a little bit more like cystic or underneath the skin, it really helps to kind of, I think, like relieve the inflammation faster anyway. I've gone through several packets of them before, and they are a little expensive. So they are $18 for 6 patches, so about $3 a little patch, like a one-time treatment. So I try to save them for those blemishes that just feel like they need that extra help, you know, that your standard salicylic acid or whatever isn't going to kind of treat, or just ones that aren't going away as fast as you want them to. So they're a nice thing to have on hand, but they're not like my go-to, if that makes sense. Alright, and then another thing that I purchased was the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Blurring Powder Foundation. And this may sound incongruous, is that it? Like, it doesn't connect with what I said earlier about having super dry skin and, I don't know, just wanting more medium coverage or whatever. But because I do sometimes want more coverage, I still set with some kind of powder. I just thought it might be nice to combine this with another foundation just as kind of a light way to set things, add a little bit more coverage. I don't plan on going full on with the powder foundation, if that makes sense. So I did, I think, swatch this in store, and it just had a really nice kind of finish on the skin. It didn't feel too chalky or dry or anything. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot. I got the shade R210 Pink Alabaster, which is also, I think, 2R03 as a shade. So we'll see how that works out once I get it. So this product, or at least this shade, is currently out of stock now, and I might have picked it up when I first placed the other order, except it was out of stock then, so I kept checking back, and it just happened to be in stock at one point, so I scooped it up. I think Makeup Forever, the site, had a 20 or 25% off sale at some point earlier this fall, and I thought about picking it up then, but there wasn't anything else that I really wanted from Makeup Forever, and I think it was like a $50 minimum for free shipping, and I thought thought I would just wait and take my chance on buying it from Sephora. Alright, and then another product I got was the Patrick Ta Major Glow Lip Shine. So, I'm not a huge lipstick person. Normally I only wear lipstick when I'm like filming or something like that. Right now I'm wearing the Tarte, what are these called? Replenish Color Splash lipstick, I guess. And this is in the shade Vacay. And then I topped it off with the Fenty Glow Gloss Bomb. I thought about getting the little set of these that came out this season, but I don't love these as much as I think everyone else does. So this is the mini size that came in a little set. I also have the bigger size of the Fenty, I forget what it's called, but the pinkier one. Fussy, maybe. So for me, I think the texture is fine. The scent, it's a little strong, it's a little artificial for me, and I find that I have to be really careful about how much I apply because it can get kind of messy and gloopy if I'm not careful. So anyway, I thought I would go in a different direction basically, and I've been using a sample which has disappeared here. I found this sample of the Fresh Sugar Advanced Therapy Dream, I guess it is, which is one of their tinted lip balms that doesn't have, or this is a lip treatment, it doesn't have SPF, which most of theirs do, and I think they're all chemical SPF, which is an ingredient or product I try to stay away from. It's not, the form they use isn't the worst. I think avobenzone is the one that's most likely to irritate my skin. I think they use octinoxate, maybe. But anyway, this one is with no SPF. But it's nice because it's moisturizing and it gives just the very tiniest hint of color to my lip. So I will usually put this on in the morning before I head out the door. I thought about repurchasing this, but I think I still have a good amount of product there, so I thought I would just hold off on that. But anyway, have been really enjoying that product. So instead of doing a Fenty product, or I guess picking up more of these, I decided to get the Patrick Ta Major Glow Lip Shine in the shade She's an Influencer. So we'll see how that works out. And then finally I got a Sephora product, which is a magnetic palette. It's 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 of an inch in dimension. So I guess the size of one of those larger index cards, basically, by, looks like a little over 1/2 inch thick. And it has a mirror, and it just has, like, you know, your standard magnetic base. So partly because I've picked up some of these Viseart palettes recently. I think Ipsy had a sale where I think they were maybe half price. And I had the, I think Volume 1. I think this was the, yeah, Volume 1 Cashmere, which is the more neutral palette. And then you also have Volume 2, which is the Minx, which is the warmer palette. And then the third palette that I picked up was Amethyst, which is the purpley one. So because I got all of these other ones recently, I thought it might be nice to combine these into one palette. I'm not sure if they'll fit or not, we'll have to see, but anyway, never hurts to have another magnetic palette. So that was on sale for $6, and of course you get the extra 20% on top of that. So, like I said, I think Retail Me Not is still doing the $5 cash back on $65 or more, so I had an incentive to get to a certain subtotal. And for samples, we'll see if I actually get them or not. I got the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioning Mask, which I've used in the past and I really like. So from what I remember, they give you quite a generous size, so it could be good to pack on my trip this December. And I also have one of those mini tubs that came in the set with the charcoal shampoo from earlier this year, so hopefully that should get me at least part of the way through the trip. And then I also got the Summer Friday jet lag mask as a sample, so hopefully I get that. It would be nice to try out, and fitting, I guess, considering I will be taking a plane trip. So anyway, so that is the upcoming order I am expecting, and I feel like I'm losing my voice because I talk so much, or maybe I'm just out of practice. But anyway, I hope you guys found that helpful or interesting. I guess quickly I will just run through the makeup that I'm wearing. I have the Becca, let's see, Under Eye Brightening Concealer, followed by the Estee Lauder Double Wear Instant Fix Concealer, which I've really been enjoying lately, actually. I used the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in the shade 3.75. Let's see, I don't know if the Becca comes in more than one shade, but I have the lighter shade. And then the concealer was in the shade 1C, which is light cool. And then on my eyes, I have the Viseart Tryst palette, which I think I also picked up recently from Ipsy when it was half off. And kind of a pinky palette like so. I hate this sleeve or overlay or whatever they call it, but it's what we have. And then I think I have this, I think I use this Milani eyeliner in Hooked on Espresso. This is their Stay Put waterproof eyeliner. I have the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes, which is my, I guess, holy grail mascara. I already told you what I put on my lips. And then on my face, I have this Hourglass palette. Let's see. I think I mostly used this blush in the middle, this strobe powder. I used some of the bronzer, maybe some of these powders on the face. I don't know how much I actually used. And then I think I used a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury powder. Oh, and the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I think that's everything. Anyway, again, I hope you guys enjoyed that, found it useful. Hope you guys have an excellent weekend, month, holiday season, etc. I'll talk to you soon. Maybe. All right, bye.